Hi everybody, Joey here again and welcome back. So in today's video, I plan to tell you guys a story about a journey I started 7 years ago. I loved freshwater stingrays the minute I saw them. 7 years ago, I decided I wanted to keep them. I began to research them first and I spent 2 years researching stingrays. Since these are a specialized animal that can live to over 20 years, I knew I needed to make sure I was both committed and prepared to providing for them. I started out with a cheaper ray instead of buying the more expensive type that I actually wanted, which was a pair of Leopoldi stingrays. But their cost is prohibitive to treat as your first stingray. I spent a couple of years with Motoros, reticulated, and Bosmani stingrays as I built up my experience I needed. I also wanted an Asian arowana just as bad. I view Asian arowana and freshwater stingrays as the ultimate combination. About a year into keeping rays, I had the chance to buy a lower grade Asian arowana at a great price. While it wasn't exactly what I wanted, I figured if I didn't buy this one, I probably would never own one. About 2 years ago, I bought a house. I knew moving in with all of my tanks and big fish was going to be a massive task. But then it struck me, what if this was finally my chance to get the fish I really wanted? It would be much easier to start fresh. With the experience I had now, it was time to go after what I really wanted. This is what my hobby has been building up to, and what I had planned all along. I decided to sell off all of my tanks and fish, including the rays and arowana I had. Once moved into the new house, I ordered a pair of Leopoldi rays from my friend Michael at Exotic Aquaria. He found me exactly what I was looking for. However, I couldn't find the right arowana for me at that time. So I built my 540-gallon tank for the rays and held off on the arowana. I then heard about Montreal Arowana House. I started following them on Facebook for 2 reasons. I was interested in that aspect of the hobby and loved seeing the videos and pictures they post, as well as I wanted to possibly become a customer someday. Eventually, I saw the one I had to have, and that was that. I jumped on it right away. Ordering with them is much easier than most places. Tell them the fish you want and where you are. They will give you a total of the fish and shipping. Send them the money, they send you the fish. They also have a bulletproof dead on arrival policy that will make you far more comfortable dealing with them than most other places. I got to see the photos and videos of each fish prior to ordering. However, with any video or even pictures, it is definitely difficult to capture a fish's true beauty. This guy was much nicer than I was expecting. So the fish I ended up getting was a blue-based crossback. I picked the fish based on its development, size, and my own personal taste. It is only about 11 to 12 inches long, and in my opinion, it's showing a ton of potential. I can only imagine what it'll look like in a year from now as he matures. The Montreal Arowana House is dedicated to furthering the Asian arowana hobby in Canada. They do an amazing job at doing just that. So while I generally never do reviews or mentions of other companies, I most certainly feel compelled to give these guys a huge pat on the back. With having the rays I have always wanted and owning an arowana I thought I would never own, I finally feel complete with my hobby. Over the next couple of years, watching these guys develop is certainly something I am excited to be a part of. So this was 7 years in the making and well worth it. I did everything as I wanted to, with no regrets. Now again, I'm completely impressed with Montreal Arowana House's quality, value, and service. And I'd like to ask you guys a favor and show them some support on my behalf by simply following them on their fan page. I will leave a link in the description. If getting into Asian arowana is something you've been considering, of course, I recommend Montreal Arowana House. Now this is a story I have never shared with anyone, and I wanted to give it its own video. So next week is when we'll take a closer look at more of my fish and information about them, as well as how I keep them. We'll also take a look at all of my tanks and all of the details about them. I hope you guys join me for that, as this is one of my most requested videos that I actually get. So I wanted to thank you for letting me share a really important time in my hobby with you guys. I want to thank you guys for watching as well, and we'll see you next time.